Hello everyone, my name is Warren. I have something to tell you. This is an incredible story about a setup done by my mom. Yes, you heard it right. She wanted to set me up and she almost succeeded. And all because of her enormous selfishness and fear and perhaps some internal personal conflicts. Well, soon you'll make a conclusion yourself. The thing is that I was born into a miraculous way. My mom gave birth to me right in the middle of her way to the hospital. It just so happened that the day they went to celebrate my dad's birthday in the wilderness, they planned to have a picnic with some friends in the woods nearby and celebrate this day among friends in a big cheerful company. At first, everything went fine. Everyone got there safely, put up their tents, and at that moment, my mom was almost 9 months pregnant and everything was fine. The day was almost over. During the daytime, everyone was active. They ate a lot, sang loud songs, drank, and the birthday was just going well. Before going to bed, Dad suggested that Mom walk around the area a little to stretch her back. If you are not aware, this often happens to pregnant women. The back aches because of the belly. She and Dad were walking around, then suddenly Mom felt a sharp pain in the lower abdomen. She screamed and called for help. Confused and drunk, my dad did not know what to do. They were trying to call an ambulance, but the signal was so bad up in the mountains. Then Dad got behind the wheel and put Mom in the back seat. Mom refused to go with my father, but he assured her that he could handle it. So they drove onto the road. My mom's pain was even more severe, and then she suddenly screamed that her water broke. Because all the craziness and emotions, my dad lost control of the car, and they crashed into a tree. Thank God at that moment that they were going very slowly. Shortly speaking, my mom began to give birth without any doctors, but my dad assisting the birth as best as he could, as he knew how. And as soon as I was about to pop out, an ambulance team arrived. I guess their friends managed to get through and the door delivered me in a couple of minutes. Oddly enough, despite the scary accident, no one had any bruises or got traumatized. Nothing. They were all experiencing other emotions. Their friends gathered around my parents and began to celebrate my birthday on the spot. And one of the friends said that I was a special child because I was born under such unusual circumstances and, most importantly, no one was hurt. He was right. I was born an intelligent boy. Maybe you'll not believe it, but by the age of 4, I'd been reading books on my own. And not just those kid ones, but books for teenagers. And after another 2 years, I was already able to write freely and practice studying foreign languages. By the age of 8, I already knew 8 foreign languages and could read, write, and even compose poetry. My parents were proud of me because I grew up like a little genius. Everyone predicted a great future for me. Everyone believed in me, especially my mom. She spent all the money she earned on me, paid for me, bought me everything that was in my interests. Books, going to the cinema. She gave me money for language tutors. I couldn't get enough of the information I was getting. I don't even know what actually truly motivated me. A real thirst for knowledge or maybe just greed. As a result, my dad became noticeably more anxious. He was angry at the money he wasted on my mom's side, and every time he got angry at her when he found out about her new classes, books, and so on. My mom also argued that she was not throwing money down the drain, but was putting it into my knowledge. And Dad had a slightly different policy. Because of this, they began to argue a lot and could never find the middle ground for this. And so my dad could not stand it. He left the family. This was a huge blow to my mom's mental health. From that moment on, she became even more fixated on me and began to invest even more in my knowledge. She kept saying that knowledge is strength and power, and that the more I know, the easier it would be for me to be a leader. Maybe she was right about something. When I grew up, I had my future planned out. I knew that I would get into Harvard without any problem, that I would go there and study hard. But when my mom heard the idea, she was not happy with me for some reason. She said that I didn't have to go that far, and I asked why did she earn and then invest so much in me if at the end of the day it was too far or too expensive. Mom could not find a suitable answer. She only said that she would be very lonely. I tried to explain that this was a normal process. When children grow up, they leave the family homes to build their own life. Clearly saw in Mom that she could not accept the thought of loneliness. And I wasn't even leaving her. I just had to go to college. After that conversation, we had a dozen more fights, and each ended with my mom's revolt. Anyway, when the time for sending applications came, I was the first to submit, having prepared everything in advance. They wanted me to take an exam that would determine my application status. I came on the appointment day with my mom. Yes, she said that she could not miss that. To be honest, the test was very easy. My IQ was much higher, so I did it quickly, submitted it, and left. The results came the next day and I was amazed. I completely failed the test. There was not a single correct answer. But how is that? I'm sure I did everything right, I said. I was beside myself in anger. I could not believe that I had failed the test completely. I got so angry that I wanted to break things, and then I pulled myself together and went to deal with the administration. Mom tried to stop me, but I didn't even listen to her. Arriving there, I argued with them like I was insane. I almost got to the dean. I was so pissed off. Suddenly, a guy came up to me and said, "Maybe you're just stupid," and laughed to my face. I did not want to endure such impudence. I clenched my fist and was about to smack him in the face, when suddenly I heard my mom's voice. She screamed, "Stop!" and I stopped. Mom took me and the admission staff to some office and it said that she had something to confess. I didn't understand what was happening at all, but what I had heard destroyed me completely. After hearing her, I didn't even know how to react. I wanted to cry and yell because of how stupid it was. It turns out that my mom tampered with the test sheet, and she replaced my answers with her incorrect ones. I was afraid that I would lose you, as I lost my husband, and that I would never see you again, that you would leave your mother and would not want to come back. I was shocked, as was the staff. We were all silent for a while, and then the dean interrupted the silence. He took Mom aside and talked to her. She cried bitterly, and then promised him something. They returned and told me to take the exam again. Well, I passed everything perfectly and was immediately accepted. The situation with my mom remained unresolved, so I offered her a solution: to move to Cambridge with me. Mom laughed and then said that this is an option did not occur to her. Well, it's not for nothing that I have a high IQ, I said jokingly. I'd say our story ended pretty well. And there's something I'd like to say. I realized that our parents often hide their true feelings from us in order to protect us. But just think about it. Everything would be much easier if they just told us everything, right? What do you think? Do you talk to your parents about this stuff? If you like the story, then press the thumbs up button and leave us some comments. Don't forget to subscribe.
Hello everyone, my name's Kimi. I'm in high school and this year I have final exams. This is a very exciting event in the life of every high school student. The graduation ceremony, prom, fancy dresses, going off to college, it's all so exciting. One thought of it makes me really look forward to it. Now, all my classmates are thinking about the exams and are preparing to pass them. But I'm not very worried about this. I studied very well all this time and I have good grades. Many people thought that I was a nerd, but I don't care. Now that they're studying day and night, I can relax and focus on choosing a dress for myself because I'm 100% ready for the exams. Recently, I've been spending a lot of time on websites looking at a dress for myself. I even already know what it will be. I can visualize it in my head. My dream dress. It's just gorgeous. So, the color is the delicate shade of pearl, not shiny but powdery as it is now cool. An open top without shoulder straps. The skirt is wide, but not too wide, and it has a cut from the hip down. The belt is wide with a huge flower, and from it flowers fall along the cut. They are a subtle lilac color. On my shoulders, I will have a see-through lightweight scarf and flowers in my hair. I even drew the dress for myself, and now I'm trying to find it in the stores, but nothing fits. It upsets me very much, and even my parents are angry. They say that I need to study more and be online less. But I'm not giving up. The school is over and it's time for the exams. This is all people talk about. All my classmates are always in the library and I'm with them so that my parents calm down. But in fact, I do not study. I am looking for a dress. And then once again, when I was looking at my sketch, a girl from another class sat down with me and began to ask about my dress. We left the library and I told her that the dress of my dreams simply does not exist, and I was shocked about it. She replied with great news. Her sister makes dresses and she can talk to her to make one for me, but in return, I have to help her with the exams, or rather solve all the math problems so that she can make a cheat sheet. I was against such methods, but I wanted the dress more, so I agreed. However, on the condition that she would not let anyone else cheat. Her sister looked at the sketch and said that it would be a lot of money to make the dress. My parents wouldn't give me that much money. It wasn't clear what I should do. I was even more upset now because my dream was so close to coming true. The solution came as easy as the idea to make the dress. I did the math problems, but not just solved all of them. I specifically made a couple of mistakes knowing the level of my classmates, and she successfully passed all the exams ahead of schedule. And after that, so many others reached out to me to make the same cheat sheets for them. I took money for each work, and now I could easily get the needed amount for the dress. It was a victory. Moreover, I reassured my conscience by the fact that by solving all of these problems, I was also training my brain, which meant that I was also preparing for the exams. One thing was difficult. There were more and more people willing to pay, and I was busy even at nights. My parents thought that I was preparing so hard, and they were so proud of me and even promised to buy me heels for my dress. All this meant that there were even more and more advantages to my new income. I've stopped thinking that this was technically a fraud and even began to feel proud of myself. Every day, I gave out new cheat sheets and asked everyone only two things. First, not to give my version to anyone because it was written individually, and secondly, to rewrite them with their own handwriting because it would be easier for them to read on the exams. Although writing it with their own handwriting would not necessarily make it easier because I write so beautifully that people think that I even took calligraphy classes. This was my main mistake, and only if I knew then what it would cost me. It was the worst day for many and the most ordinary day for me, the day of the final exams. Today, all the high school students were at school. Some had math, some took languages, and so on. I only had to pass the general test because my grades allowed me not to take the separate exams. I easily finished the task and I was the very first one to go home, knowing that tomorrow I will be on the list of those who passed successfully. It was a great sunny day and I happily spent it looking for perfect shoes. And yes, my dress was almost ready and I could easily pay for it. The next day, I came to school and I did not find myself on the list at all. My last name was just not there. Actually, there were very few names on the lists. Everyone could not just fall asleep in the exams. I know I definitely did not. While I was lost in my thoughts, Miss Darrell, our secretary, approached me and asked me to go into the principal's office. It was all weird. My parents weren't there. It was unexpected, and judging by their faces, it was not a happy occasion. But I couldn't fail the test. What happened? The principal's tone was very scary and formal. He informed me that yesterday during the exams they took 30 cheat sheets on various subjects written in one handwriting. This handwriting was impossible to confuse and it did not even need further expertise. He handed a stack of papers to my parents and my mom gasped. It was my handwriting without a doubt. He also said that an investigation was carried out and all these people said that they bought sheets from me. It was not acceptable. It was pure fraud. This has never happened in our school before, so all these people will have to retake the exams and I will be expelled without the right to be reinstated. I will not receive a diploma. They gave me the documents. This was just a nightmare. All my dreams collapsed in an instant, and all of this because of a dress? My parents were extremely upset, but the worst thing is that many of those who were caught wanted my money back, and I did not have it. I had paid for the dress, and now I have a dress and nothing else except debt. My father said that he would not pay for my stupidity. He was ashamed that I was his daughter. That night, I left a note to my parents and left for another state to find myself and to earn money. A year has passed. During this time, I thought about it a lot. I worked this whole year as a waitress in a roadside cafe on the highway. Every month, I sent money to my classmates and paid off all the debt. The money I earned was quite enough for me, but now more than anything, I wanted to go to college and get a degree because that job was so hard and so boring. But I did not have the diploma and I did not know how to retake the exams. It seemed to me that I had forgotten everything and I was very ashamed to go back to my hometown. This is what I was thinking when a man entered the cafe. He asked for a menu and coffee. I came closer and recognized him as the principal of my school. He was not happy to see me, and I was so ashamed that I burst into tears and told him that I was very sorry for what I had done, especially since the reason for it was so stupid, just a stupid dress. He listened to me and said that I could apply for exams this year, but in another state, and I had to provide the documents that I had a good reason not to take them the last time. If I could do this, then I would have a chance to change everything. On the same day, I quit my job and returned home. By that time, my parents were no longer angry with me and helped me with the documents. I had to again study the textbooks in order to restore my knowledge in my head. It turned out that after a year, it was not so easy to do. I was terribly anxious before my exams, and I was very afraid that I would not pass them because my stupidity had ruined my life before. And then came the long-awaited day. I successfully passed all the exams and received a high school diploma. Now I could go to college, and this was my happiest day of all this year. I'm glad that my parents are with me on this day. There's only one unresolved thing, my dress. Now I don't think it's that great, and I don't want to wear it. It cost me a lot though. So what do you think I should do with it? Throw it out? Give it away? Sell it? Write your opinion in the comments.